welcome back to Sunday Reads with Renee at Simply Renee. My name is Renee, and today I'm doing a double book review for the holiday season of One Day in December by Josie Silver and The Matzah Ball by Jean Meltzer. These are two books that are perfect for the holiday season. There are a lot of romance, of course, but also they could be read year-round, in my opinion, because the storylines are great and I like the romance aspect as well. So definitely year-round if you don't want to read it for the holiday only. Before I begin, though, I want to let everyone know that plot points will be revealed in these reviews, so therefore spoilers are ahead. First book review is One Day in December by Josie Silver, and this is a 2018 published work by a woman named Josie Silver that takes place in England and tells the story of Jack and Laurie, two people who fall in love at first sight at a bus stop one cold day in December 2008, but struggle for the next 10 years to connect, get it right, and be together for various different situations. The story, of course, starts off in December 2008, where Laurie is working at a hotel but dreams of being a writer. She's a little unhappy because she is going home to her apartment where she's going to be alone for the holidays temporarily because her best friend and roommate, Sarah, has gone off to visit her family out of town. So Laurie is already not looking forward to the Christmas season right then and there. And then she gets on a bus, everything seems to be okay, but she looks up and makes this instant eye connection with a handsome young man who it's instant love at first sight between them. And it's a connection, but before he can get on the bus, the doors close and that's it. They kind of spend the next couple of months not really seeing each other until one day when this guy appears in her life. Turns out he's a young man named Jack who wants to be a radio DJ, but it's complicated because Jack is a new boyfriend of Laurie's best friend and roommate, Sarah. So already a big complication there. And even though the two recognize each other and acknowledge their attraction, they choose not to be together because of the love they have for Sarah, because they don't want to cause any problems there. Jack still wants to be with Sarah and try to make the relationship work. And Laurie doesn't want to come between that because Sarah is not just her best friend and roommate, but someone she considers a sister and vice versa. So already complications there with this relationship because even though they are lovers of each other's lives and they have that connection, they can't cross those paths and don't want to cross that. So there is a little bit of a moral thing that they want to keep going, which is appreciative and you see in different types of stories on screen and off. And I really like that aspect where they don't want to hurt the person that they do love and care about in this situation, even though they are loves of each other's lives and soulmates. So that is a nice little aspect there, even though it's a complication and can cause some friction and problems along the way. Outside of that romantic connection and the complications with it, there are other things about this book that I liked. I did like the relationship between Laurie and Sarah, and that there is a lot of love and appreciation for each other, where you feel like they're sisters in real life. You feel like they have this good connection. They both care about each other, despite the fact that there is that complication with Jack. And there's also the fact that you have different personal growths happening where Laurie tries to become the writer that she wants to be. Jack wants to be that successful radio DJ and has some hiccups along the way, which cause it to backslide and he has to make some changes. So there's a little bit of personal growth and a little bit of drama that happens in there that create complications from Jack and Laurie being together, but it also allows them to grow on a personal level and also to really connect a little bit more and grow closer in some ways. But I really liked One Day in December because even though it's one of those situations of, wow, it's taking you about 10 years or more to be together, what's up with that? It works well. You know, Josie Silver writes it very well. It flows quite nicely. It works well with that will they, won't they relationship and the complications that come along the way. And I always find when you have that will they, won't they relationship, it should be written well. And I feel One Day in December does that. More importantly, One Day in December, I feel is not just a holiday read. It's something that I think could be read year round because even though it has that more Christmassy December feel, it does have that romance year round. It has those personal journeys that make it well worth it to read year round if you don't want to be connected by the holiday spirit too much. So I think it works well for that. But all in all, I do recommend One Day in December for your romance reads or romance holiday needs because it is a great book. It flows nicely. I found it an easy read to get through. And I finished it in about, I want to say about 3 days, I believe I finished it. And yeah, it works well. And I was very engrossed. And I do recommend it for all your holiday romance reads. The next book is The Matzah Ball by Jean Meltzer. And this one is something that I really liked because I read it in December 2022, about a year after it was published. And the reason for that is because December is coming up. I was looking for a reading challenge to do for December. And it's always a holiday read of Christmas, but I wanted something a little bit different that was more December holiday spirit without being Christmas, whether that was Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. And I ended up discovering the Hanukkah read for the Matzah Ball. And I thought, oh, great, a Hanukkah romance, something a little different for December. And I picked it up, read it, absolutely loved it. This novel is a very nice Hanukkah romance story by Jean Meltzer. And one of the reasons I love it isn't just because it's a little bit of a different holiday spirit type novel, but it also has a great plot and wonderful characters as well. The story is about a young woman named Rachel who lives in New York City, and she is the daughter of a successful, observant rabbi. She really loves her Jewish life and traditions, extremely close to her parents, wanting to always honor and respect them. And she finds a situation very complicated because for the last 10 years, she's had this successful career as a Christmas romance novelist. And she loves Christmas secretly because she enjoys everything, the trees, the traditions, the Santa Claus. But that doesn't really work with the very steadfast, devout, observant Jewish traditions that she's been raised with and does love and respect in her own right. The reason she keeps this hidden is because she's fearful of the backlash it could be through the tight knit Jewish community. So she keeps all of that hidden as a result, while also dealing with chronic illness that does affect her and prevents her from having successful romance and love in her life. But then one day, the Hanukkah season is upon them. There's this big event called the Matzah Ball, which where everyone is looking forward to in this tight knit Jewish community, but it's being run by a successful entertainment company from this man named Jacob. And it does hit Rachel very hard because Jacob is this arch enemy of hers from camp back when they were teenagers, about 12, 13 years old. And what happened is that these two young people instantly connected when they were 12, 13-year-old teenage kids, and they had this instant connection. They fell in love as far as love can go for teenagers. But then situations occurred where they ended up parting ways very angrily and heartbroken, and it's still being affected almost 15 years later. Now, one of the things about this pairing is that they are a very good connection. You meet them in these books and they really connect well. They have a very good rapport. And there's more to the story than you realize because Jacob actually does remember Rachel his first love. And she actually is the one who helped save his life when he was in a bad situation at the time because of issues with parental abandonment from his father. His mother had some issues as well. And so meeting Rachel really connected him and made him feel alive again. But unfortunately, things happened with abandonment and the situations with them that they ended up parting ways very angrily with a lot of resentment. So they meet again as adults, and you really feel this rapport and this nice connection. I liked how this book ended up really connecting them in a good way, where they have that enemies to lovers trope and that second chance love trope work very well, where even though Jacob and Rachel don't get along at first because of the situation that happened years ago, they end up connecting through more adult conversations and the things they've gone through and the personal journeys they've experienced as well. You feel a great rapport with them. I liked how Meltzer put a little bit more of Jacob's perspective into things, which actually made him more human, and you felt more of a connection with him, where you got to see his side of things and perspective and his own growth and to understand him a little better, just as much as you understood Rachel from her perspective as well. And I very much like the relationship between these two. They really connected well, and I think if you were to ever turn it into a movie or even a miniseries, I would love to see it because I would like to see the actors who play these characters, their chemistry, and if they really connect very well. But the thing I liked about the Matzo Ball too is that it had an assortment of different characters that made the story flow very well. I liked Jacob's grandmother, who is funny and charming and nice. I liked Rachel's best friend, Mickey, who was very much a steadfast, devoted friend who loves his best friend, Rachel, and is always there for her, and vice versa. They had a very good rapport, and I really liked that relationship as well. And the friendship there is just so heartwarming, and I really loved it. But I especially loved Rachel and Jacob's romance that they have going on in this novel, where it's kind of like, are you going to get together? Are you going to connect? Are you going to find out things about each other that are going to affect the relationship or make it better. So it really worked very well. And I actually think this book is something that could be read year round as well, because again, the themes of romance and the relationships and connections and complications work well to make it more than just a holiday romance or a Hanukkah romance. It just connects well. There's a lot of charming, funny comedy to it that works. And I think it's just a great read overall. There are a little bit of things that I kind of felt that should have been shortened a little bit, where there are certain situations that pop up that I thought, oh, it could have shortened a little bit. It could have made things a little bit better. But I actually really loved this relationship and book all around because it just works well and I think it's a great read. So if you're interested in holiday romance that isn't Christmas, I recommend this one because it is very funny, but it's also a great romance all year round. So I can't say enough about the Matzah Ball, and I hope you pick it up and read it because I recommend it. I think it's a very charming read and had my heart aflutter. So that completes the double book reviews of One Day in December and The Matzo Ball. Have you read these books? Have you read one or the other? Do you think about reading these books for the holiday season? If you have read them, what do you think of the characters, the romance, what the authors capture? Please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from all of you, and I welcome all discussions as always. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell. And I'll see you next time for another Sunday read as well as a Wednesday video. I'm looking forward to doing more shorts as well. And I thank you so much again for coming by, and I'll see you next time. Bye.